Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Today we're talking about something very few people noticed. The presence of Imu-sama since the very first day of One Piece. He's been there all along, and almost nobody realized it. At least not until now. Guys, let's talk about how Imu, the biggest villain in the story so far, didn't just show up out of nowhere in chapter 906. No! According to this amazing Japanese theory I found, Imu has been around since chapter 1 of One Piece, hiding in plain sight, tucked away in tiny details we never picked up on. That's right. Since the very beginning of Luffy's journey, if you're here for the first time, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any epic content about anime, manga, and crazy theories. And if you're already subscribed, thanks for being part of the family. Now let's get straight to the point, because I don't want to drag this out. Today's focus is Imu, how he's been infiltrated into the story since the start, in ways Oda hid like a ninja master. We're going to break this down step by step, and I promise that by the end, you'll reread the early chapters with completely different eyes. First, let's give some context for anyone who's a little lost. Imu, or Im-sama, is that mysterious being who appears in the Reverie arc sitting on the empty throne. The person who even the Gorosei, the 5 most powerful elders of the world government, kneel before. He's basically the supreme ruler, the one pulling all the strings from behind the scenes, and the craziest part, he's the enemy of Joy Boy, of Nika, and of everything that Luffy stands for. Freedom and liberation. But the theory says Oda didn't throw him into the story last minute. No! Imu has been there since chapter 1, and we're gonna prove it with evidence that's gonna blow your mind. Let's start with the basics. The name Imu. In Japanese, umi means sea, and if you flip it, it becomes Imu. That's not a coincidence, guys. Oda loves wordplay, and here, he's connecting Imu to a Japanese yokai called Umibozu. For those who don't know, Umibozu is a sea monster, a giant dark figure that rises from the ocean and curses ships. It creates whirlpools, demands barrels from sailors, and if it doesn't get one, it destroys everything. Worst part, it's known as the Devil of the Sea. Now think about this. In chapter 2 of One Piece, yes, in the second chapter, Luffy heads out to sea in the East Blue, the calmest and most peaceful sea in the world, right? But out of nowhere, a gigantic whirlpool shows up. Like, what is a whirlpool doing there? It makes 0 sense in the East Blue. And how does Luffy escape? He gets into a barrel and throws himself into the sea. Exactly like the legends say sailors escaped the Umibozu by offering it a bottomless barrel. It's like giving an offering to the devil of the sea. Oda is dropping a massive hint here. Imu, the sea devil, is already influencing the story from the very start, creating chaos in calm waters to test or hinder Luffy. But it doesn't stop there. Look at Imu's design. When he appears in the manga, he's a dark silhouette with glowing eyes, identical to Umibozu. And in the Egghead arc, or recent moments when the Gorosei transform into monstrous creatures, Imu turns into a humanoid black figure with only the eyes showing. A perfect match. And remember that huge shadow in the Florian Triangle? That giant thing in the sea with glowing eyes? Many people think it's just sea monsters, but look closely. It resembles Imu and Umibozu way too much. It's as if Oda has been planting seeds for the final villain since the earliest arcs. Now let's go even more mind-blowing. The One Piece logo. Yes, the manga's title logo. In the Blue Deep Data book, Oda said the letters in the One Piece title contain hints and secrets. And guess where Imu is hidden? In the letter I. The I in the logo is a silhouette wearing a straw hat. In English, I means me, and I am means I exist. But in Japanese and in religious contexts, it connects directly to godhood. Like in the Bible, God says, I am who I am. And God's name in Hebrew, YHWH, basically means I am. Imu-sama is like the god of the One Piece world, ruling from above on the empty throne. But he's also the devil, mixing good and evil. And the straw hat on the eye? Imu protects a giant frozen straw hat in Mary Joyce. It's probably Joy Boy's hat. In the logo, there are 2 straw hats. One on the O, which is a skull symbolizing Luffy, and one on the I, the shadow representing Imu. Why 2? Oda wouldn't do that for nothing. In the Netflix version, there's only 1 hat on the O, but in the original manga, the I is Imu in disguise. Think about it. The title One Piece has the final villain hidden since Volume 1. Before Chapter 1 even starts, Imu is right there on the cover, and this fits the narrative. Imu is the opposite of Luffy. Luffy is we are, uniting friends, while Imu is I am, egocentric, and alone at the top. Let's expand this to more early chapters. In Chapter 1, Goldie Roger talks about the One Piece, and his execution starts the era of pirates. But who controls the world government? Imu, he's the one keeping the balance, hunting pirates. The Marines, the 7 warlords, everything leads back to the government, which leads back to Imu. Oda planned the world government from the beginning, even if the warlords stretched out the story. In interviews, Oda said he wanted to finish the manga in 5 years, but early villains like Buggy and Alvida are tiny compared to what comes later. But Imu, he's the core. Look at the East Blue, total calm, but with hints of mystery. The whirlpool isn't random, and the barrel, Luffy inside the barrel gets saved by Nami and Zoro later, but symbolically, it's meaningful. Imu, the Sea Devil, tries to sink the hero right from the start, but fails because Luffy is Joy Boy reincarnated. Now, let's talk mythology and religion. Because Oda loves that stuff, Imu as I Am connects to the biblical god, but also to the devil. In Christianity, the devil is the fallen angel who wants to be God. Imu sits on the empty throne, the throne meant for no one except the true king. But Imu usurps it. And the Gorosei, they're like archangels serving the false god. In the opening, we are the drums of liberation, Luffy's Gear 5 drums, are already present from episode 1. Oda planted the sound of Nika versus Imu from the very beginning of the anime. We are versus I Am, pirates united versus a lonely dictator. Let's imagine some scenarios. What if Imu has influenced the entire sea, the calm belts, the massive whirlpools? All of that could be remnants of his power. In chapter 100, when the celestial dragons are mentioned, that leads to the Gorosei, which leads to Imu. But since chapter 1, the government is indirectly referenced through the Marines. In the Arlong Park arc, Nezumi, the corrupt marine rat, shows how rotten the government really is. That's a seed for Imu, the very top of all that corruption. In Logue Town, Smoker represents the good side of the Marines, but even he ultimately serves the system controlled by Imu. In the Grand Line, the shadows grow. In the Florian Triangle, that gigantic shadow Imu, or one of his avatars. In Thriller Bark, shadows and monsters echo the Umibozu legend. In Marineford, Akainu and Blackbeard seem like final bosses, but Imu is far greater. He even tried to kill Blackbeard, as shown by the shredded wanted poster. In the Reverie, Imu finally appears, but the clues have always been there. Now, let's go into speculation. What if Imu is the opposite of the Void Century? Joy Boy fought against him, and the Straw Hat is the symbol of that conflict. Luffy inherited the hat from Shanks, who got it from Roger. Maybe all connected to Imu's original opponent, the One Piece. Maybe it's something meant to bring Imu down and reveal the truth. And that's exactly why, when we revisit Luffy's journey starting all the way back at chapter 1, we begin to understand that Imu's presence isn't a sudden revelation. It's not a plot twist that came out of nowhere. No, guys, Imu has always been there, lurking in the shadows from the very beginning, manipulating everything, orchestrating events, and testing our hero. From that mysterious whirlpool at the start, to the subtle references hidden in the One Piece logo, everything points toward this enigmatic being who, so far, stands as the true mastermind behind the entire story. But what does that mean for the narrative? Well, it raises One Piece to an entirely new level of complexity. Oda, as always, has been playing with the fans' expectations, hiding clues and revelations in ways that are almost invisible, yet brilliant. Imu isn't just another villain. He is the embodiment of everything opposed to what Luffy represents. He is the I Am, an egocentric being who controls and manipulates the world for his own benefit, while Luffy is the We Are, a force of unity, freedom, and friendship that challenges this oppressive system. And in the end, everything Luffy has done so far, every friendship, every battle, every step of his journey has been preparation for the final confrontation with Imu, this villain who behind his quiet facade is the heart of all the corruption and control within the world government. And who knows, maybe the One Piece itself, the treasure everyone seeks, is the key to toppling this god who rules from the shadows. The true final battle of One Piece is still ahead, and it's against someone who has always been there, hidden between the lines. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.